think we got done what we needed to get done. Some of the guys that we needed to kind of see and really just get them some experience. Really appreciate our fans creating a good environment for us. That's always important. We don't get this opportunity very often. We don't get a chance to create a preseason atmosphere or anything like that. So to be able to come out here and expose some of these kids, the best thing is to be exposed and gain experience. And so we had some guys get that today. It was tough conditions, but a lot of fun. A lot of fun to see them, handle their business and finish spring in a good way. We got better this spring. We got a lot to do. First and foremost, getting a lot of people healthy. Obviously didn't have a lot of guys out there playing today, but we made it work. We put 11 out there so we could, again, get everybody evaluated and could play. But very incomplete team today. But when we get back going in August, we've got a chance to be a really good football team if we'll do what we need to do this summer. And so proud of the guys, proud of the work. We had one guy get banged up today in Dakari, but nothing serious. So he'll be sore for a few days, but he should be ready to roll when we get back training this summer. So thankful for that. Adam Randall had good surgery, and he was out here today. But appreciate our fans. A bunch of former players back today. That was fun. You knew the orange team was going to the kiss of death when Christian picked them. So you just knew that was just karma and inevitable. But obviously disappointed with the drop punt snaps. So again, to put some pressure on these guys, we've got some work to do there to grow up and get better there. And we jumped offside a couple times, had some penalties, and had some guys playing maybe out of position a little bit. But again, the guys that we think are going to be dominant players, they've been what we need all spring. And then the guys that we need to really mature and grow and get better, we were able to do that this spring. We've got a bunch of guys that aren't where they need to be, and we've got to close that gap between now and August. That's what, as we call the transformation phase, that's what that's all about. We'll start that on Monday, and look forward to getting back together, watching them grind through the summer, getting all these guys back fully healthy, and when we put it together, I think we've got a chance to be another good football team around here.
Did Uiagalelei make enough of strides in the spring so you can rest easy over the summer about that position?
Oh yeah. I rest real easy on that position. I love the guys that we have there. Billy Wiles and Hunter Helms as well. I mean, I love all four of those guys, and we've got Trent Pearman coming in to join the group. Hunter Johnson will be starting here summer one. He'll be out there as well. So this is as good a room as we've had at quarterback in a long time. Once we get everybody here, in 2018 we won it all, and Hunter Renfro was our third-team quarterback. We had Trevor and Chase Bryce, redshirt freshman, and Hunter Renfro, and the fourth team was Will Spires. So we're going to have a lot of functional guys in that room that I know will be ready if we need them. But I'm proud of those guys. Proud of DJ. He definitely, again, we're missing a lot of pieces, but he had a good spring and did what he needed to do to give himself some momentum going into summer. From a totality standpoint, and same thing with Cade. I mean, man, a lot to learn this spring, and to be able to come out here and really get a good foundation, and same thing to play in an environment where you can, not hyperventilate. First time you get in this environment, you can have a little bit of something to draw on. So it's a good room, and have good leadership, good people, just good people. There's just not a better group of young men out there than what we got in that quarterback room.
Dabo, some old voices on your staff in new positions. Did you have a lot of coaching of the coaches this season? How was the transition with everybody?
It's been fun, and definitely a lot of that, because we do have some, unfortunately, some new people coming in, but also some guys just taking different roles. And so that's been fun to see them. It's one of those things that until you go do it, there's always nuances that you don't really know until you start doing it. But man, it's been a lot of fun. This staff has a really good chemistry already. They like each other. It's fun to go sit in both rooms and see the camaraderie. They're all on the same page. We've got a talented staff, and I'm thankful that we were able to get the work done for the bowl game. I thought that was good for us, just like for your players to create this, to have a bowl game and to have such, tough game. Was a lot of confidence for those guys coming out, going into spring. And then I just like the interaction that I've seen. There's a lot of trust and respect with these players and the staff, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. They've all, just settled in nicely, and whatever roles they're in. We got a lot of different people support staff-wise too, so we'll have a lot more of that this summer as we really kind of dive and take a deep dive into our program and everything about it as we start over.
Coach, was the initial plan to bring DJ and Cade in late in the game the way you did, or was that just playing it by ear? And what are your thoughts about how Cade played today?
Yeah, no, that was definitely, we were going to start the second half with Hunter and Billy and try to give them a couple of roles and then finish with those guys. That was definitely the plan coming in. And what was the other question?
Your thoughts overall? I know you got to look at the film, but how Cade played today?
Oh, he did great. I thought he did really good. He had, he took too many sacks. He's got purple jersey syndrome. I told him I'm gonna let him loose a couple times, and he'll get a little more sense of urgency when Miles Murphy smashes him a couple times. So just a little. And there was a couple guys he just didn't see because we whiffed on a guy or whatever, but he took a sack in the red zone on a safety blitz. The unblocked guy's his guy, and so those are things he's just going to grow. I mean, he's his own. He's one of the most self-driven kids you're ever going to be around. So he just keeps getting better, and he'll just keep learning. But that's probably the biggest thing. He just. He's so fast, and he's used to just being able to just run away from everybody. But you don't run away from Miles Murphy. You don't run away from Xavier Thomas and people like that. So that's an adjustment for him. But I mean, he made some great plays. He made some good timing throws. Placed the ball well down here in the red zone. It was a great little throw to Hamp, and did a really good job. Did a really good job.
Your thoughts on the center position now that the spring's over and how those guys did?
Well, I can't wait to watch the tape, but this is exactly the best thing. I don't remember any bad snaps today. And so that's all you need to know about Putnam, because Putnam needed to get all the work because, he's going to be our starter going in, and he's had a really good spring. We've gotten done what we need to get. He's played so much football. This guy is a really good player, but to make that move is not easy, and especially when it's not something you've done. And I'm really proud of him. And so this was big for him today, in this situation, this environment, to just go play. We're in a lot better place today than we were when we started spring ball, and that's what we hope. And that's, we'll keep moving forward. And I'm proud of Trent. I think Trent has improved. I'm proud of Ryan. And we had a couple of issues with Cade and Ryan, cadence-wise, and some hard count stuff, and trying to get the ball snapped on the clap and things. So again, this is a high school senior who just got here, and a kid that's a true freshman that really hadn't played. So that'll be good for them. So I feel good about what we've been able to get done, and really all of our linemen. And had a bunch of guys out today. J Mac didn't play, Parks didn't play. John got banged up the other day. They held him today. I'm forgetting a couple guys, but I really like the group, and I think the two. Colin was one of those sick guys, so he's only had 2 days of practice post spring, and today was day 2. So it showed he was a little rusty, but he showed between he and Blake. We really hit on those 2 kids. They're physically, like seniors in college. Mentally still young players and coming, but they're going to be able to help us. The improvement of Tristan Lee has been awesome. That little redshirt sophomore group, John and Trent and Mitchell Mays, that group has been, a good, pleasant surprise for us because they've made the jump. Brian Tucker rolled his ankle the other day. He couldn't play today. That's who it was. Brian Tucker's made a move this spring, so I think we've got a good group. We've got work to do between now and Labor Day, but I think we'll be a lot better than we were this time last year.
Has Trotter practiced all spring?
Yep.
Mason Trotter? Okay.
Yep.
Coach, you talked about all the players and coaches that were in new positions are coming in. Do you see today as a good trial by fire sort of situation for the
Yeah,
group?
it's, it's again, a day like today's good for the coaches because I mean they're all looking at me. I'm like, don't look at me. Hey, that's on y'all. On penalty decisions and situational stuff. We had some. It was good that it worked out. We had a couple of 2-minute drive type opportunities, both sides before the half, end of the game. And so just having to think through some of that stuff from a play call standpoint, and then when you split your staff. You got guys taking on more roles, which is good for them, whether you're calling the plays or making some of the decisions. So all that was good, positive from today.
Dabo, do you exit spring saying, hey, DJ's our guy, or is it a neck and neck type battle?
No, DJ's definitely our starter. He's had a great spring. He's not done anything to not be the starter. Cade is a really talented player. I mean, we got two guys I think can win at a high level, just like when Trevor and DJ were coming out of the spring. So it's not often that you can say that, but I've seen enough from both those guys to know that, and so it's a good situation.
What you thought? Go ahead.
What do you take away from the spring about your defense when you plug in everybody that's going to be healthy? How good can this unit be?
Yeah, they can be really good. They can be as good as they want to be. They'll have, the type of depth that gives you a little bit of room for error. But I think we've got a chance to be a special group in the defensive line. I think we're going to be fast and athletic at linebacker. And I think we're going to finally have some great experience in the secondary. It's just a matter of getting everybody back. And as you saw today, you didn't get to see Jaden Lucas, but I did, and we hit on him. He's a home run, and then you saw Toriano Pride, you saw Koval, you saw Nate, who was a true freshman last year. So I really like the guy. Sheridan had a great spring, and we shut him down. This last part, we got to get him 100%, but he got most of the spring in, which was good. Malcolm Green is progressing well to get back healthy. Fred Davis has been able to, he's only had 5 practices all spring, but it was good for him to be able to get back out there as well. So it's going to be a good group of corners. Miles Oliver will join the group this summer. But that safety group is a very experienced, savvy group. And so I think all 3 levels will have experience and talent and depth. And it's not always the case that you have that. But it's going to start with those guys up front. I mean, I think we got 7 guys that'll get drafted this time next year. So it'll start right there. And if those guys handle their business, and those young guys behind them, you didn't see Brzee out here today, you didn't see Trey Williams out here today. But if those young guys will handle their business, it's going to be a deep group that can lead the way for us. But they're only as good as the guys around them too. And but I think all 3 levels. We're going to have guys that can get it done.
Coach, you said last week that the one question you still had was punter.
Potter.
Yeah,
you see why I said that?
Yeah. Well, each guy had a
like
couple.
Nostradamus today, didn't I?
Well, so I guess there's still no separation there.
Nostradamus? Yeah, there you go.
End of days. They had a couple nice ones each, but average over 40 yards.
You see what we've loved about Potter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he bombed a few, and he can do it. But the first snap was a little high. It wasn't perfect. I got my man Florenzo out there getting his first. I imagine the wind's blowing. He was probably a train wreck. He was a little high, but Potter you got to make that. You got to make that play. It's not always going to be perfect. You touch it, you got it, and so. But Potter hadn't really done that, so he's gonna work his tail off because he really wants to compete and win the job. And then Aiden goes out there and he muffs one, and he shanked one. I mean, it was just Jack. I was actually pleasantly surprised because he had about a 30-mile-an-hour wind at him on his very first punt, and he's 3 yards in the end zone, and I'm like, this has potential for disaster. and he really, his process was good. That's really all I wanted to see. I wanted to see him just have a good process, handle the ball, and he got about three or so. He's going to be really good, but he's kind of been like a high school senior out here, and he's got to just settle in, and I'll be anxious to see where he is when we get to camp in August. But that's really the only question mark I have, coming out of spring is who's running out there first to be the punter. And we got work to do there. Our snappers are going to be good, but I think that we've got to solidify that.
The defensive ends group, it seemed like they really showed up today. Just what did you see from those guys?
Yeah, I fired them all early. I told them y'all better make your reps count because they're not going to be many. And well, I'm going to remind them. They did a great job. They were, there was some guys a little out overmatched, but they did a good job. They were all begging for sacks and all that stuff. So I'm going to remind them when we miss a couple of those sacks this fall, don't be begging next spring. So, but they're great, really good group. I'm proud of all 4 of those guys. Very mature. They really like each other. There's a lot of competition there, but it's a healthy competition, and good leadership. I'm just proud of all of them. KJ's been great. This has been his best spring. Maskell's had his best spring. Miles has had his best spring. Xavier Thomas, man, you saw him out there today. I mean, he's there've been a lot of people lose money if you said Xavier Thomas would be back here for a 5th year coming out of high school. I'd have been one of them because I didn't know if he'd have that type of maturity and stuff, and because he certainly could have left, but he really wants to be the best version of himself, and so if he stays committed to that, he's going to have a great year. All those guys, it's going to be a fun group to coach. But you had the Power Rangers as the honorary head coaches today, so you knew it was going to be a defensive struggle right out of the gate. But it was fun. How about those guys, man? Austin looked great. Christian was great. And, Grady was here, and T and Isaiah, and saw Jordan Williams and Shaq Smith and Chase Bryce, and saw a bunch of guys here today. So it was fun to T Higgins, see a bunch of those guys coming back to hang out.
I know you said that you guys definitely want to go to the portal and try to get offensive linemen. And is there any other position exiting spring that you feel like you might take a look? Or just...
No. The only position that now, I mean, unless I got guys show up and tell me they love me but they leaving me, unless we have that, I don't anticipate that. But I mean, who knows? All things stay the same right now. We don't. That's the only position that we would look at, and we're not going to just take a guy to take a guy. It's going to have to be, it's got to be right. But we certainly are going to evaluate that between now and into May.
Anybody else? All right. Thank you.
Okay.